Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second season of Tell Me Dad. In this season, we will be asking my dad all questions that we have about life. These can be questions about career, personal development, or relationships, or whatever we can think of. So if you're interested in what my dad has to share this time, then stay tuned. Hello, Dad.
Hi, son. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, very well, very well. After doing a little bit of homework here, some little repair jobs on the house. Well, for some reason, it's. I feel comfortable with that. I gotta have something to do. I'm not the kind of person that just sits 8 or 10 hours a day in his beautiful chair, watching television. That's no good, no good. So, all right, and it's only 2.5 months, and then we can write our old new, new,
Yeah,
our old 964 again.
true.
I'm looking forward to it. I put a little bit of work into it, a little bit cosmetic, and check the oil and the air in the tires and all that stuff. So it's ready to go.
Very good. That's what we like to hear.
When you come to Düsseldorf next month, I'm gonna pick you up from the airport with this Black Beauty.
I'm looking forward to it. Very good.
Yeah, well, you're gonna ride it back definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay, son, what are you up to today?
Okay, look, I think it's an interesting question I prepared. I
All
don't
your
know.
questions are interesting.
All my questions are interesting. I don't know. This one, I don't know. It just came to me spontaneously.
Okay.
I think we talked about it in private once in a while. And the question I have for you is, I guess, two questions. So, first, what's the difference between being alone and feeling lonely? And I don't know, just tell me a bit about your experience in life. I guess you've
Mhm.
experienced both. Yeah.
Is that it, or is there a
That
second
no,
question?
that's I guess that's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is something that well, you can read a lot about it. Uh, and I think we talked about it once in a while, occasionally,
Yeah.
but we didn't really went into the depths. We just
Yeah.
scratched the surface, and uh, you see, in your life, it also depends on your job, and you travel a lot, and you travel alone. Then sometimes you have this feeling that wow, I'm all alone on this world, but uh, yeah, being alone is one thing, but to feel really lonesome, to feel like, well, I have no one in this world,
Yeah.
this is a totally different story, because when you're alone and you have someone in your mind that you think about, and while you are thinking you smile, I mean, you're not really alone, there is someone. And uh, I still remember some of my trips, and it was depending really on the country. Um, you know that I traveled a lot to Russia
Yeah.
at that time in the mid to late 80s. Um, you had to send these people your quotation for whatever machine according to their specification. And then they invited you to a technical discussion that took about 2 to 3, 4 days with the user of that machine tool. And after that, there were these commercial negotiations. And at that time, Russia was, or Moscow actually, mostly I went to Moscow. It was very seldom that I went to another town. I went to Volgograd once, and to Sissert, and Chelyabinsk, but most of the time I was in Moscow, and it, you see, talking to these Russians, I always had my translator with me, but still, it was you felt kind of being alone,
Yeah.
because there was no one that you could really talk to or ask his opinion. And but during the time, you developed a certain feeling about how these people were clicking, ticking, and um, so I went there. I did my presentations. I answered 100,000 questions, and then the negotiation, they were always the same. These commercial negotiation, they always ended up with a 30% discount for them, always, every
Yeah.
time. But at 28%, I kind of played very stubborn. I said that's all I can do, and this and that, and I went back to the hotel, and so on. And only when I met with my distributor and translator in my room, and I told him that, well, I think I'll go back tomorrow because I did everything. Um, the best I can do, maybe another 2%, but that's it. Then we got invited the next day, and they signed the contract.
Yeah.
Apparently there were some kind of mics in the room, and they listened to us. So, and my statements that I made these statements intentionally, they were on purpose, so they could listen to them. And
Yeah.
anyway, so, but um, yeah, it was Moscow was kind of dark at 6, 7 o'clock. You see, they didn't really have good street lights, and there were no restaurants, no bars. They were just like 3, 4 big hotels that were for or built for foreigners, especially for Western foreigners, for Europeans. And but you didn't really felt like, even though there were like 100 Germans, and you talked to one or the other, but you kind of felt alone.
Yeah.
um, Not lonesome, I'm just alone, being alone. There was no one. So most of the time I went early to bed, or I read a little bit. And because television, to look television was kind of boring, because
Yeah.
well, I picked up some phrases, but it was not enough to really watch television. um, the music they played, they were kind of depressing. I mean, you have to be Russian to appreciate that. So these
Yeah.
Volga
Yeah.
doodles, and no, it's just not my kind of thing. Russians love that. They are very melancholic people, and they like that. But no, I am the old-fashioned rock and roller, and that was just not possible in Moscow. Anyway, so um, uh, yeah, it's. I was alone in my room. A lot of people, they buy. In that case, they buy a bottle of wine and bring it into the room, and they kill the bottle of wine every
Yeah.
night. But this is not really my, or it was. It has never been my thing to do, because I thought that my liver would not really appreciate that. And then there were countries like South Africa or United States. I mean, there was always party. You were always with people, going for dinner, doing this and that, and what have you. So you couldn't even think about being alone,
Yeah.
and you know, just impossible. Um, the only country where I felt kind of lonesome was in Asia, like South Korea, where I only had not a representative in that regard that was there all the time. These guys, they just picked you up from the airport, they took you to the customer, they did some translation, and then they disappeared. And you stayed alone in your hotel, and it was kind of uh, lost, in the middle of the ocean. And that's not really a good feeling. That's not really a good feeling. And but I must tell you one thing. Um, yeah, I felt a few times in my life I felt alone, but I've never been lonesome. So the feeling that, wow, that's the end, and there is no one there that cares, and wow, I'm lost, and no, never, never, ever. I always, and sometimes I tell you, really, sometimes I was appreciating that I was alone,
Yeah.
because depending on what kind of people you have around, uh, you are happy when you get rid of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, really. So, like, I mean, United States, when you talk to Americans for 7 or 8 hours, um, that's it. Great people, very, very nice and generous, and they always invite you to the house and barbecue and this and that, what have you. But it in many cases it's just an act, or
Yeah.
they have been told to take care of Willie. So I didn't like that at all. And the last couple of years, when I was in the board of directors of this machine tool company in the United States, I told these people that they don't need to do that. I mean, I spoke to them quite frankly. I said, listen, I don't want you to pick me up from the airport. I don't want you to take me to the hotel. I will book my hotel. I will rent a car at the airport, and I gonna be totally on myself. Don't worry about it. And then I did my board meetings to get that healthy distance. It
Yeah.
was actually helpful. It was helpful because Americans always try to create a, well, it's not a friendship, but it's kind of a close relationship, and that can be very dangerous
Yeah.
because you if you go for that, you feel you have a best friend in your life, and behind your back they do things that you wouldn't even have thought of. So um, uh, I must say, being alone in the United States, especially at night, when I got into the car, I got my shower, put on a fresh shirt, and I went out to have dinner. You know that I like to eat, to have good food.
Yeah.
Good food
Of
and a
course.
good glass of wine. And Oregon is a beautiful state when you go for that. So um, uh, a lot of people think that well, Americans, they only eat hamburgers and soft drinks and drink soft drinks, but it's not really the case. I mean, they have top restaurants, they have excellent wines, especially in Oregon, and every night I went out and I had a great dinner, and believe it or not, I met some very, very interesting people
Yeah.
and had dinner with them, and they told me their life story, and I told them a little bit, up to a certain degree, of course.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told them a little bit about my life story and where I'm from and family and this and that, what have you. And these evenings, they were just beautiful, great. And it was not that act that they had to put on. It was, you met real people, and that was something that I really appreciated. And even though it didn't happen, I was happy with the food, with the good glass of wine, and I talked to the waiter, and it was just great. Or I did a wine tour on myself. I went to different vineyards to do some wine tasting. I mean, within limits, of course.
Yeah.
Because drinking and driving in the U.S., it's not really appreciated. But you met great people. I mean, once I went to a vineyard, and the owner, he used to be a dentist.
Okay.
He used to be a dentist, and he was actually making the best Pinot Noir and Chablis that I have ever tasted. He was a dentist and then he got rid of that. He said, no, I don't want to fix other people's teeth anymore and look in all these, faces
Yeah.
every time. I just want to do something on my own that I like, that I appreciate. And he put all his money on one card, on one number, and that was buying this vineyard. And his friend, he was a pro in regard to wine and how to do it. So these two guys, they actually redesigned this whole vineyard. They did some marketing. They had a great wine tasting area, and it was just great, And going there alone, I mean, you are not alone. You are talking to people, and you have a good laugh once in a while. You are smiling, and it's great. So, um, I think when you say difference between, that's the way I understood, being
Yeah.
alone or being lonesome, right?
Yeah. Feeling lonely. Yeah.
Or feeling lonely. Yeah,
Yeah.
feeling lonely, exactly. Um, uh, I never felt lonely, really lonely in my life, because even though I was alone, I still had people in my mind that I
Yeah.
was thinking about, or I talked to people on the phone, or I I I I was never really lonely,
Yeah.
And alone, yes, alone, and sometimes I wanted to be alone,
Sure.
because being an entertainer all day long is also not really what I appreciate. You see, when you go to these countries, people ask you thousands of questions, and they think actually they do you a favor,
Yeah.
by asking you all these questions. And our mentality in Germany is, what the hell does he care about that?
Yeah.
How old is my wife? How old is my son? What are they doing? What kind of house do I have? It's none of his business.
Yeah.
But in the United States, it's different. This is the way they create a conversation, talking to, and they think they really please you.
Yeah.
They think that you have the feeling that they care about you, but it's not always the case. Sometimes yes, but it's not always the case. And again, um, being alone, I enjoyed that many times, very much. For instance, going shopping.
Yeah.
I was alone. Of course, I was alone because I had my shopping list, and go through this shopping list. I needed to be alone.
Yeah.
I didn't need someone next to me that asked these thousand questions. Where are we going now? And what are you going to buy? What are you going to buy now? And so on. It's. I mean, sometimes I had a shopping list for cosmetics. I mean, your mom is pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And then I had a shopping list for tools.
Yeah.
And my favorite shop for tools in the United States is Sears. They have a brand name. It's called Craftsman.
Yeah.
Oh, great tools, and reasonable, great tools. So um, quite often I push the limit on my baggage, because I have
Yeah.
so many tools in my bag. Um, and or when I wanted to buy some clothes, new jackets or new pants, and to have people with me, I would have it would have been a bother for me,
Yeah.
because no, it just doesn't feel right, When they're looking at your pants and they say, "Well, I wouldn't buy that one,"
Yeah.
uh, it's no good, So,
Yeah.
so, um, but I also can imagine that there are people uh, feeling really uh, lonely, but it always depends then on the circumstances.
Yeah.
when someone is really, really ill, and he has a really bad disease. And you see, the human beings sometimes, they kind of, um, well, the human beings, the animals as well, they kind of bypass these people.
Yeah.
They smile and they say, "Hey, whatever you need, just call me." But they never go and see him. So these people, I can imagine that these people sometimes feel extremely lonely,
Yeah.
and I think that must be a very terrible feeling. You see, that's. That to my opinion, it must feel like that you are ready to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Uh, this is no good. It's no good. So I really appreciate and thanks God. I never really had this situation in my life, even though you remember last year and the year before when I was really sick,
Yeah.
and it was like a 50-50, and well, it turned out that I had great doctors, and they, with their therapies, they kind of fixed that cancer. And but still, I never felt lonely, because either there was mom or you, or you
Yeah.
see, there was my family always around, and that is something that gives you so much power, you can believe it, so much energy, and getting that energy from your family, it 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 has such an impact on your body, on your system, that it's amazing. So
Yeah.
again, being lonely, or being alone, yes, uh, but um, to be really in a situation that I feel I am the only person left on this world,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to say bye bye. I never had that situation in my life, but I'm also not really the kind of person that could feel like that. My intention is to enjoy life till the last minute,
Yeah.
and then I can think about what's next.
Yeah.
But this is something. Life is so good, and life is so beautiful. And when I fly with your mom to Vienna on Thursday, I'm looking forward to this trip. It's just unbelievable. I mean, for me, just when we have taken care of the house and we leave the house and go to the airport, just that feeling, it's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your mom and I, we go there all by ourselves. I mean, we are not. I'm also someone that never took a vacation on a group basis. Like 20 people go together to, let's say, South Africa. You know, and they get in a bus and they get one tour after the other there. This is something that I no, 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 no. I rather rent the
Yeah.
car and just go. You know
Yeah.
and see what
Yeah.
happens. It's much more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
so
I guess in that regard we are quite similar. Though what I see also in my generation, this this being alone is it's very rare, I think, that people can actually be alone, you know. For example, especially myself, especially if I had a rougher week, nothing's working
yeah,
out, you feel stressed out. I need this time for myself on the weekend. I don't know,
absolutely.
just go somewhere
Yeah,
just by myself, just let me be with my thoughts, and that's
yeah,
it. But this is something I rarely see nowadays. If you walk through the city, just see how many people you see by themselves and how many people you
yeah,
see at least in a group of two. But I really enjoy sometimes, not always of course, but sometimes just being by myself. Also going for a coffee alone, or going for lunch or dinner alone. Just
yeah,
be by
yeah.
myself.
I know.
I
I
need
know
it.
exactly what you're talking about. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. And the best example that I can give you is the first couple of months in the United States, every day I got invited for lunch.
Yeah.
And I'm not the person that has like a heavy breakfast, then greasy lunch, and
Yeah.
then big dinner, you know.
Yeah.
Well, but these people, they felt committed, you know, to take me out for lunch every day. And I told him, please do me a favor. I mean, my body and my stomach and my digestive system
Yeah.
is gonna collapse. You know, I
Yeah.
just cannot go through so much food. So, and I very polite. I made clear that at lunch I wanted to be alone.
Yeah.
Either I gonna out there, they had a nice backyard, you know, with some benches, real nice,
Yeah.
and I was sitting there, and at that time I was still smoking my pipe,
Yeah.
and so it's about at least about 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I needed that hour just to find myself again, you know, after all these discussions and things that we have talked about. And I needed this 1 hour to fill up my tank again, to go
Yeah.
through the afternoon. And what I also did is I went to a little restaurant in that town. It was a town with like 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And most of the people at that company, they didn't even know that restaurant. The name of the restaurant was Recipe. It
Yeah.
was
Okay.
a nice little French bistro. And I had for lunch a French style, you know, a baguette with camembert and a small glass of red wine. And I was happy. I
Yeah.
didn't need these huge sandwiches with French fries and oh no, it was just too heavy, too much. Anyway, so I fully understand what you're saying. Being alone or being being just by yourself is something that I think normal people need to have once in a while. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and when you are in a stressful job, you don't need that once in a while. You need that quite often. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you probably are happy when you get back home every night, prepare some food. You rethink the things that happened during the day and maybe prepare yourself for the next day. You know, because you have to fill up that tank. If you
Yeah.
go next day to work and the tank is not filled up, and that happens day after day after day after day, you're going to be out of a job in a few months because
Yeah.
you don't or you're going to lose your focus.
Yeah.
You're going to be a person that's just sitting there on that chair looking for a comfort zone, waiting for the next month just to get your next salary. You are a survivor.
Yeah.
And that's no good. It's not good for you as a human being, and it's not good for a company, you know.
Yeah.
So um, when you are by yourself, have a walk through the city,
Yeah.
or just stay at home, watch a nice movie, or prepare something real nice, or cook something, you know, real nice, and have some good food. And so this is the way it should be. And what I have noticed over the last few years is that a lot of young people, they build up a fear for being alone.
I think so
And
too.
they
I
and
think so
they
too. A lot
well,
of people are scared. Yeah.
you know, and they are scared, and they create this scenario. And I think more women than men, they create that scenario. Well, you see, I'm all alone, and there is no one in this world for me, and especially when they just lost a partner,
Yeah.
then they almost die. You know,
Yeah.
they almost die, and they think that that is the end of their life. You know, and but this is not true. it's a new beginning, and
Yeah.
um, no one in this world has to be uh, on a permanent basis, has to be alone, and has to be lonely.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I think the world is so beautiful. The world is great, but you have to open your ears and you have to open your eyes. And I tell you one thing, to meet great people every day and talk to this one and to this one, and this is this is 100,000 times better than being on a permanent basis, being together with the wrong person.
Yeah.
That
True.
makes you being lonely. I tell you, really,
Yeah.
that is you feel frustrated, you feel lonely, you don't listen to people anymore, you are frustrated, you are just, I mean, that's no good. And I tell you, I'm speaking from, or I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
If you are together with the wrong person, uh, this is no good. Enjoy your life, enjoy being alone, and meeting people every day without having a bad conscience. I mean, when you see some couples, when men or woman, when they greet someone else, just wave with their hand, then partner is already looking, and who was that?
Yeah.
Was that a friend of yours? And they start this kind of discussions. It's terrible, and that's exhausting. And that's
Yeah.
exhausting because you adapt to these situations in a way that when you see someone you want to greet, you kind of turn away, you pretend that you haven't seen him, and that's no good. That's no good.
Yeah.
You miss so much in life. So it's no good. So, but again, young people, even very young people, 17, 18,
Yep.
19, um, and what I have noticed lately is that, and the statistics in Germany, they speak for it. Um, they start drinking.
Yep.
They start drinking or slide into drugs. But this is not a solution. If you do something like that, you miss so much. You miss so much. And so there is nothing wrong with being alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You always you always meet people
Sure.
during work or on the street or in a restaurant or in a bar. You always meet people, have some nice chats, and once in a while there, or even one day there will be the right person where you think, oops,
Yeah. Sure.
there could be a little bit more in it, but never force something like that. Enjoy life, and enjoy even being alone.
Yeah.
This is all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important, but
Yeah.
I think I'm also I'm doing it.
Yeah.
As I
And
said,
that's
I really
great.
need this time by myself
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. But you see, it has also something to do with um, your well, the energy that you have,
Yeah.
the focus that you have, the job that you have, the education that you have. You see, this all forms a person and the mentality of a person. If you are not really challenged by your job,
Yeah.
and you get home every night and there is no one and you are just sitting there and you have nothing really to think about, this is a sad situation.
Yeah.
But if you are standing in the middle of life with a great job and you are making your money and you're enjoying life, you go on vacation once in a while, hey, life is good.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. And the big advantage is you can focus. You can focus on the future. I
Yeah.
heard a I heard a statistics today in the radio. They have asked, um, well, young people between 20 and 30
Yeah.
if they could imagine to become a leader in the company, to take over a leading position like a department manager or
Yeah.
director or vice president or so on. You know how many people said yes? Well, they actually said yes, I could imagine, but only under certain circumstances. On enough vacation, enough free time, blah 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 blah, work-life balance.
Yeah. Sure.
5%.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed more. Yeah. Yeah.
5%.
Yeah.
And these only under certain conditions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, what the hell is wrong with these people? You see, when I was a young guy, after my engineering degree, I went into business, into jobs, and I was always focused on uphill. I
Yeah.
always wanted to become better and more, and I knew that I had to deliver.
Yeah.
You don't get it for free, and I delivered, and I moved my way up. So, and I think that is kind of normal because that is fun. That is so satisfying, that when you reach a goal, that is so satisfying, that's such a great feeling. But less than 5%, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
only under certain circumstances,
Yeah.
certain conditions.
Yeah.
And the first was um, this work life balance thing. There's a lot of vacation, a lot of spare time, and
Yeah.
and you see, if you are in a leading position of a company these days,
Yeah.
uh, these words vacation and spare time, and this is they are all pushed in the back. I mean, they are not in the front. You have to focus on your job, you have to focus on the company, because you are probably one of the columns of a company, and
Yeah.
these people have to be available 24/7 if
Yeah.
necessary. But if you talk to young people like that, they call you crazy.
Yeah.
They call you
Yeah.
crazy. They
I'm
say
not
no.
surprised. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's look. My manager told me, Paul, when I joined the company, I was a bit scared because I knew all of you were going to be very young, and I hear so many things about the young generation. Not willing to work anymore, need a lot of spare time. But when I came here, it's completely different. You are very hardworking. You are three hardworking guys. Really like working with you. But I told my manager, look, I mean, I agree. We are very hardworking, the three of us. But just be aware that's really the exception in our generation. All these things that you hear about my generation, I can't say that they are not true. It's to a large extent they are. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised by the 5%, not at all.
Less than 5%. Amazing. And you see, this week, our Chancellor, Mr. Merz, he
Yeah,
made a statement in one of his speeches that to become a leading country again, we have to work harder.
yeah,
I tell you. The
yeah,
next day, unbelievable. They
yeah,
asked people on the street, what do you
yeah,
think about this statement and so. And but they complained about this. They said, "Well, we
yeah,
are working already 35 hours a week, and this has to be enough." And I mean, there were a few people that said, "Well, to be quite honest, I'm working already 60 to 70 hours a week."
yeah. Okay, yeah,
And well, but a lot of these people were entrepreneurs,
yeah.
people that
Sure,
were on their
sure.
own, and they had their little bistro or their little business, and they were working 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
to build it up, and sometimes 6 to 7 days a week. So, um, but all the guys that were employed, or all the people that were employed, they are, I tell you, terrible to make a statement like this.
Yeah.
But this is true. This is true. I tell you one thing. Germany has to change a lot, and that's just the way it is. But how did we get there now? It's from oh, holy
Yeah.
cow.
Just talking about my generation.
Yeah, your generation. I think younger people, some younger people have a bigger problem with being alone than the
Yeah.
older people, because the
Yeah.
older people, they also have that attitude. uh, well, I've lived my life, and there is not that much to come anyway. And that's a big factor here in Germany. I don't have the money to enjoy life anyway,
Yeah.
because in time when they were making money, they didn't think about what they're going to do when they're getting older. So they just waited till they retired, and then they discovered that, oops, my income is only 50% of what I had before.
Yeah.
And when you deduct the payments for rent and car and this and that, what have you, they have $100 left over uh, for food. That doesn't work. That
Yeah.
doesn't work. It is very important that you prepare for that time of life. Um, so being alone is something that younger people have much more to fight with than older people. All older people, well, a lot of older people,
Yeah.
when they get to a certain age and to a certain stage, they kind of resign. They say, well, that's it. I'm gonna enjoy some good food, or they go to one of these retirement homes. They are happy when they get their breakfast, and in the afternoon, a piece of cake and a cup of coffee, and talk to their companions in that retirement home, and that's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just the way it is. But it is sad that this being alone and the fear that results from that it is with a lot of younger people. You know, that's it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, and I think, you see, we also have even a lot of people don't really talk much about it, but we have a drug problem in Germany. We have, when you go to Düsseldorf, when you go to Berlin,
Yeah.
to Frankfurt, to Munich, in all these big cities, there is quite a drug scene. Um, um, but when you ask yourself the question, how did these younger people, how did these young people get into that? And in many cases, is
Yeah.
they have no focus anymore. They are alone. They are alone. They have no friends. They And when they start this dope once, then it's quite difficult to get them away from that, because this gives them the 1 or 2 hours of great feeling of, I don't know what, so fireworks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sad, it's sad, very sad. Anyway, so uh, I thought, and I could actually notice that you are thinking very much alike, and
Yeah.
and that's good. That's good. That's going to help you to live your life, to have fun in life, and enjoy your life. That is very important. This is also something that comes with being alone. You are free to make your decisions. This is also very important.
Yeah.
That is, if you say, I want to start I don't know what, karate lessons next week, you do it. If you say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
have 2 week
Yeah.
vacation left, I got to go for a trip to Hawaii." You go and you do it. So, and this
Yeah.
also, you don't have to do it, but
Yeah.
just to know that you could do it, is great. It
Yeah.
is a great feeling,
You could. Yeah.
very great feeling. Alrighty. Yes, Sam, I
Yeah.
would say
True.
that this is the best answer that I could give you. And
Yeah.
I
That was
think
great. That was fun.
deep in your heart, you knew that I would answer the question that way, because you know me for more than 20 years, and well, that's it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our next session, to the next question that you have. I mean, we went through a lot of good questions, I must say, and I got to know
True.
myself much better, because when you talk about things like that, it makes you self think again, and but I
Yeah.
must say, until now, I have not discovered any situation that I would have changed in my life, and life is good again. Life is great. Life is good, and I hope there are many years to come, and I'm sure there are many years to come.
For sure they are.
All right. So, Sam, we're going to see you in February. I'm looking forward
Yep.
to that. And the hotel that we picked, the Morrison, they have a super restaurant, the Morrison
Yeah.
Grill. And right there, we're going to have a good steak, a real good Irish beef.
Very good. Looking
Alrighty.
forward to it.
Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, well, next Sunday, no, next Sunday, I'm going to be in
Oh, yeah. Right.
Vienna. Yeah, I'm going to be in Vienna, and we're going to spare that
Yeah.
podcast next Sunday, because I like to
Of
enjoy
course.
Vienna. Um, but the week after that, we're probably going to have our next podcast. It gives you enough time to think about a good
Yeah.
question. And I'm quite sure you're going to come up with something very interesting again. And in the meantime, you take care of yourself. Take care of your knee. Is it
Yeah.
better
Sure.
now? Great, good. And be successful.
Doing my best.
Keep on smiling. Keep on smiling and enjoy life. So
Will do.
take care. All the
Take
best to
care.
you. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode. If you're interested in what my dad has to share next time, then make sure to tune in again next week. And if you have any questions that you want my dad to answer, then please feel free to send them to us. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.